Hello YouTube, it's Grace again, and today I'm going to be doing the rapid fire book tag. So first things first, just to say about my appearance. I just had a shower, so if I look particularly perky or even just a little bit like wet, it's because I did just come out of the shower. So yeah, excuse the appearance. So onto the tag. It was created by Girl Reading, I believe. So if I find the original video or blog post or whatever, I'll post it down below. And yeah, so the first question is ebook or physical book. So my answer to that would probably be physical book, because I actually like to have it touching, but I don't mind ebooks really. I occasionally read them, I don't read that many though. Paperback or hardback? So I've been asked this question so much, it's funny. So I'd say paperback because they're cheaper, so therefore I can buy more of them, especially since I live in the UK, where it's actually really difficult to get hardbacks unless you buy the American edition, generally. But hardbacks I would buy because of the anesthetics, because they look wonderful on shelves, like compared to paperbacks, because paperbacks you can get them in odd sizes. But again, paperbacks are cheaper, so that's why I would, overall for this answer, I'd give paperbacks. So online shopping or in-store book buying? I buy the majority of my books online, so I'd have to go online shopping. Although I do like going in-store to book browse and find books I'm interested in, but it is cheaper online, so therefore I could buy more books if I do get it online. Trilogies or series? I'm trying to think, like, I'd probably say series, because a lot of my favourite books are all series rather than trilogies. I mean, I do enjoy trilogies, but series have got more books, so you're with the characters longer. So yeah, series. A book you want everyone to read. How much time have we got? Okay. Okay, I'd say the Scoldry Pleasant series, because it's a very underrated series and I really enjoy it, and I would hope that people would end up reading it. So yeah. Recommend an underrated book. Again, with the Scoldry Pleasant series, any of the Scoldry Pleasant books are awesome. Basically any of Derek Landy's books, he's awesome at writing, and he's just... I'd also recommend Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, because that's another good book, but I haven't heard many people talk about it, so yeah, I'd consider it underrated. The last book you finished? I can't think. I'd probably say it was the manga, what was that mark? Galaxy Angel. Yeah, I think that was the last book I finished. So it was volume 1 of Galaxy Angel. Weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark? Receipts. That's the only thing I really think of. Like when I'm really excited and I go to a store like Waterstones or even the Works or something, and I'm just really excited to read the book, I'll just put the receipt in there and use it as a bookmark. But then I'll switch it out for a bookmark when I go home, so yeah. Can't think of anything I've used weirder than that. Used books, yes or no? Well, a lot of my books are already used, so I have to go yes, because they are cheaper. But I generally buy used books that are in good, very good, or like new condition. And I do try to avoid ex-library copies. So yeah, if that can really be counted as used, but I don't know. Top 3 favourite genres. So fantasy, that includes urban, high fantasy, historical fantasy. I enjoy it all. I enjoy sci-fi, but I don't read enough of it. I need more sci-fi in my life. And another genre. I'm trying to think, I'm trying to narrow it down. trying to think. Well, I'd have to go with dystopian because I do enjoy dystopians. So the next question is borrow or buy? I would have to say buy. I wish I had more money to buy more books, but yeah. I mean, I actually enjoy borrowing from the library anyway because it's a good thing to test out books, but I do like owning the books that I've read in case I ever want to reread them. But I would say borrow if my library was more up to date, but it isn't. Like they've only just recently got Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, for example, and even then they haven't got Truthwitch or even Illuminate or even some of the top books you could think of they probably have not got, so yeah. Next question is characters or plot? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I like it when I like the characters in a book, but I like character-driven books as well. But I don't. Sometimes I like it when the plot. Oh, I don't know. This is a very difficult question. A plot-driven book or a character-driven book? Oh, that's such a difficult question. I think I'm gonna have to say character, because I do like it how in books we get to know the characters, we get to find out more about them, and basically like sometimes I think you won't even have a story if you don't have a character about that story. But I don't know, like this answer could change if I think about it for even longer. Next question is long or short books. Now this is what I was kind of shaky in answering, because like how short and how long, because long books to me are books over 500 pages. Short books to me are books which are under 200 pages. Now generally I read books which are like 350 to like 450 pages generally. That's the sort of book range I read. So I'd have to say medium-sized books generally, but I like out of that I would probably say I wouldn't mind a long book if it was written properly and like written really well. Like, but I don't really enjoy short books, I find, because I feel like we don't spend a lot of time with the characters in a short book. So therefore I feel that whenever I read short books I just wish that they were longer. So yeah, I'd have to say long books out of that then. Although I do prefer the medium-sized books. So next question is long or short chapters? Again, it all depends on what it's used for. Like short chapters can be used to build up suspense or tension, but then long chapters can be used like for descriptions and things and world building, which makes you understand the basis of the book. So I don't really know. I think it would depend on how it's being used. I'd have to go though short chapters, because I feel that short chapters tend to build up the mood in a book, but that's just my personal opinion. So next question is name the first 3 books you can think of. Throne of Glass, Howl's Moving Castle, Vampire Academy. That was really random. Okay. Books that made you laugh or cry. Now, the only book I can think of which I cried at was the second book of the House of Night series, and that's because a character died and I was really attached to that character. But then they came back a few books later. I'm sorry if this is spoiling anybody, but that series, it just kept going on and on and on, so I didn't continue reading it. I stopped at like book 8. And a book that made me laugh, I would have to say, thinking of most recently, Howl's Moving Castle, because I just loved how sassy Sophie was. She was just so funny. Oh my god, she was a hysterical character. And I really hope that doesn't get lost in Castle in the Sky, but let's hope. Our world or a fictional world? Obviously I'd like to live in a fictional world, but sometimes I don't think I would survive in many of the fictional worlds. I mean, unless it's like urban fantasy worlds, because then it's kind of like our world, but just with fantasy elements. So I don't know. I'd say I would like to live in a fictional world. I just think it'd be more exciting. Audiobooks, yes or no? I don't really read a lot of audiobooks, aka no audiobooks. Although I did try the Book Thief in audiobook form. I think it actually helped me read the Book Thief, really. Like, I got to about halfway or 3/4 into it, but then I kind of... Because it's one of those books that you've got to read when you're kind of in a serious mood. And at that point in time, I just think it was causing a reading slump for me. I'm sorry if you can hear that, that's probably a motorbike. Motorbikes around my area, we'll discuss this later. I don't, like, I could just go on a rant for like 10 minutes straight about how much I hate the motorbikes and the people around my area who flip and ride motorbikes at all hours. But yeah, I'm going into that discussion now, we probably shouldn't. So audiobooks, I'd have to say yes, they can be helpful, and that motorbike is seriously still going. Okay, it sounds like it's at the end of my road. Okay. Oh, motorbikes, so annoying. So yeah, audiobooks, yes, although I need to read more of them. I need to read, like, using that form more. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? All the time. It's pretty much what attracts me to looking at, like, reading the blurbs of books, because I generally read the blurb. Like, I don't really cover by that much, like, no, not really, because I like looking at the cover, because then it will let me look up, like, the blurb on it, and find out, like, briefly what the plot is about. So that's what I kind of enjoy doing. I don't ever usually buy books just because of the cover, and that is me being honest. So yeah. Book to movie or book to TV adaptation? I'd have to say book to movie, like, especially when I think of The Hunger Games, because The Hunger Games was a very, very, very good book to movie adaptation. Although you can get some really bad adaptations, like I've heard how Percy Jackson, for example, was a very bad movie adaptation, or City of Bones, the Shadowhunter film, yeah, and Divergent, obviously. I think Divergent, they've just really grown it up, I'd have to say. Like, in the book they seem a bit young and a bit, dare I say it, naive. Yet in the film it's like they've been matured up to be older. So that's how I think they've adapted it, but it's like, if I actually watched the film before I read the book, so I had watched Divergent and Insurgent, and then I read the book, I think. Was it Insurgent? No, I think it was just Divergent, actually. Yeah, I just watched Divergent and then I read the books, and I enjoyed the books, actually. I didn't find any, like, large problem with how the book went. I actually thought it was quite daring to go with the ending of Allegiant. Although my only issue with Allegiant was that the perspectives got me confused at points, because I just thought Triss and Four sounded the same. So it wasn't until somebody had actually told me that they were that there were different perspectives that I even realised that there were supposed to be different perspectives. But yeah, discuss that in another video. So yeah, and I can't really think of any book to TV adaptation that really lived up to the books. Although some TV adaptations were actually better than the books. For example, Vampire Diaries. Like, I read the first 5 books of Vampire Diaries, but then I kind of quit after that. Yeah. And then I watched the TV adaptation, and I watched up to like season 2, and then I had exams, and then I just couldn't be bothered to catch up after that, and now I don't even know how many seasons there are, or even of the originals or whatever. Oh god. See, I think TV adaptations can be good, but I just prefer, like, I'm really bad at keeping up with TV series, so I would have to go with movies because they're a lot easier to keep up with. Series or standalones? I'd have to say series, because then you get to know the character from more books, and again, there are more books. and generally I don't really read that many standalones, and because my primary genre is pretty much fantasy, most fantasy books come in series at least, and I don't really know that many standalones except for perhaps The Night Circus, if that's a fantasy, because I haven't read it yet, so don't judge me, but I think that's a standalone. I'm not sure. I think it is. But I think that's only the only one I could think of which may be fantasy. But yeah, most standalones I think of are usually contemporaries, and I'm not a very big contemporary reader. So yeah, that's why my answer is series. And that was at the end of the tag, and I can't really think off the top of my head who I would like to tag. Although I think, actually, because I was watching one of their videos this morning, so I'd have to say Gina and Feyza at PagesThroughOurLens, because I would just love to hear their answers to this, because I just feel that their video could be very funny to watch. So yeah, I tag them too, and basically anybody else who wants to do it, feel free, and I will be typing all the questions in the description below. And yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. I post videos every Monday and Thursday, and I will see you later.